Hey artists, today I'm going to show you how to do a running stitch and a whip stitch for our project. And so we're going to do a practice pillow first just so we're comfortable with doing either stitch. Alright, so today you're going to get a needle. It has a wide eye. Believe me, this is actually, it's a pretty wide eye comparison to other needles. And you're going to get a piece of muslin fabric, and you're also going to get some embroidery floss. Sometimes I use yarn, sometimes I use embroidery floss. And today what you're going to do is when you get your fabric, you're going to fold it over because this is just going to be a practice pillow. And so we're going to sew this side, and then this side. This side we don't need to because obviously it's folded. All right, so when I'm getting the embroidery floss, try to keep it in its little wrapping. If it comes out, that's okay. Just try to keep it organized because this can get tangled very easily. So I'm going to get about a wingspan so my arms are spread all the way out, and then I am going to cut it off. Then what you're going to do is you're going to thread the eye of the needle. Sometimes you have to pinch it real close. Like, look at how tiny I'm making it. You got to jam it through. And then what I like to do, because we don't want to tie a knot right at the end of where the needle is, because then it's going to be really, really hard to get through. So I like to leave a good amount of string kind of doubled up. Maybe not all the way, but doubled up, just so it doesn't fall out when we pull through. But what we do need a knot on the end to keep it from falling out. All right, so how I like to do a knot. Some of you have sewing background and you do knots differently. This is how I like to do it, and it's kind of like a weird way to do it, but it works. So I'm going to, at the end of the string knot by the needle, I'm going to wrap it a couple of times around my finger, and then I'm going to roll it off. And when I'm rolling, it's kind of getting like tangled, and then when it comes off, it should be a loop. And then all you do is you just pull down, and then bam, we got a knot. It's amazing, right? Okay, all right, so now I'm gonna start sewing. I'm gonna start by doing the running stitch. So I want you to demonstrate to me at least one side for the running stitch, one side for the whip stitch, your choice for the last stitch. So the running stitch, I like to use the analogy that it's like a dolphin. So the needle is a dolphin and the fabric is the water. And so I'm going to start on the back. And so the dolphin is going to jump up through the water. And then, so now the dolphin is in the air, and now the dolphin needs to dive back down. And so the running stitch looks like the lines in a road. I'm already starting to get that. And now the dolphin needs to go up through the water and then back down through the water. When you're doing this, I should actually be making my stitches probably tinier, but you want them to be nice and close together, and tinier is good because then the fluff would be less likely to fall out. All right, dolphin. He's under the water now, so dolphin needs to come back up. What the dolphin never does is the dolphin never grows legs and goes around the water. It's impossible. Never grows legs. Dolphin has a tail. So if you do go around, then that's a whip stitch. Remember, you're going to be getting to choose which one you want to do your pillow with, and there's bonuses to each type of stitch, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So dive down. And notice when I'm putting the needle through, I kind of grip it at the end so the string doesn't fall out. Up and then down. There we go. So now we have our running stitch. Over on this side, I'm going to show you the whip stitch. So I'm going to start from the back, and for the whip stitch, all you need to remember is you whip the string over and you bring the needle to the front. Whip the string to the back, bring the needle to the front. Whip, and then needle to the front. Make sure that you're trying to keep your stitches as even as possible. That's pretty good. And keep whipping it to the back and then bringing it to the front. So I'm going to continue, and then I will talk about stuffing, and then I'll talk about closing. All right, so now that I've gotten towards the end, it's time to stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle off, and then I'm going to turn this inside out for two reasons. I'm going to show you what the running stitch looks like. I'm going to show you what this looks like, and this is also to hide our little end, or little knot that we don't want to see. And so when I'm turning it inside out, just be gentle because it's not, you know, fully secure yet. Try to get those little edges out. So what I was talking about before is there's benefits to different stitches. I happen to think the whip stitch is a little easier in terms of sewing, but I think the running stitch kind of looks nicer, and here's why. So with the whip stitch, you can still see the stitches, and for our project, that's going to be totally fine. For the running stitch, you can kind of barely see the stitches on that side. So when we turn it inside out, it depends on if you're okay with having the stitches show or you don't want them to show. So that's just kind of it. So now I'm going to take some fluff, and I'm going to stuff it. And so when I give you the fluff, if I give you too much, don't think you have to put it all in there, because some kids put it all in there and it's like a turkey at Thanksgiving, man. You know, you don't want to overstuff it because then the stuffing is going to come out of the stitches. So just, you know, get enough. If you know you have more, just bring it on back. It's all right. You're going to have more stuffing for your big pillow when we make it. Get in there. Get in there. All right. I'm just gonna kind of roll it around, make sure it's nice and evenly distributed. All right, so now I'm going to sew up this other side, and then I'll show you a way to end it. All right, now that it is all sewn up and it is ended, so there's lots of different ways that I've seen stitches or sewing being ended so it doesn't like fall out. You might have learned something from a family member. This is just how I do it. So I like to go, especially for the whip stitch, I just like to go under a few, maybe like 3 stitches with my needle before I take the needle off. Pull that through, and then pulled, and then it's under enough where it's not going to come out. But otherwise, if you know a different way, that is totally fine. All right, and so now I'm gonna cut it off, and there I have my little mini practice pillow. You can do a design in marker if you like on it, and it's like a little squishy. All right, thanks for watching.